Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session. How has been our day? Yeah, welcome every one of you to today's wonderful session. Ask the Pediatrician Live. I believe it has been a wonderful day for us here in Nigeria and those outside Nigeria. For every of our members listening from the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook session, hope you all can hear us loud and clear. Thanks for coming around. I would appreciate you to follow us on every of our social media and do share the link, invite your friends to come and learn. Another wonderful time to learn again. And to do that, it's no other person than our very wonderful doctor, the consultant pediatrician, the CEO of Ask the Pediatrician Foundation, Dr. Gbemisola Boyede. She's to take us through the session this evening. So sit back and enjoy. Pop in all your questions, as many as you can. We are here to answer them. And if you missed the last episode, just go to the social media and check out the previous one held. Bring in your question. All right, Dr. Gbemi, how are you doing today, ma?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening to those of us on Instagram. I know you can't see my colleague, but you can see me. But trust me, I'm sure you can hear our voice. So we are all welcome to ATP Live Monday. As we are going to start soon, please just share the video so that as many people as available who you know will benefit from this program, they can also join us. So thank you so much for joining us. Share the video and invite your friends and family, and we are going to start. And of course, please remember to drop your questions in the comment section. And always start with the age of your baby. Always let us know if you're asking about the weights and issues about weight, what the birth weight is, what the current weight is. So if you are on our Facebook group, Ask the Pediatricians, you have to give StreamYard permission to show your name, or else we won't be able to see your name. So we only see you as a Facebook user. However, that is fine. But the challenge with that is that when you're asking your question, please don't break it into three different comments. We won't be able to tie them together. So try and put all your questions in one comment and try and go straight to the point. Avoid too much uh, unnecessary information. Just focus on the questions and straight to the point. So thank you so much. And of course, for those on Instagram, I have Adako with me. You can hear her voice, even though you can see her face, right? But so I'm also sharing the video. I'm trying to pin it to all our various groups so that everybody can see it. So yes, I think I'm almost done. So start to drop your questions. We have just 1 hour. From my experience, we're always running towards the end because that is when all the questions start coming in. But if we can all drop our questions early enough, then I have enough time to answer them. So thank you so much. I just need like another 1 minute to just make sure that all the videos are pinned to the right section so that when people go to our groups, they can see them straight away. Thank you. All right. I'm not sure we have any questions. Yeah, I can see Instagram people have started dropping their questions. Thank you. I'm just trying to pin the videos. So just 1 more minute.
For those on Instagram, you can invite your neighbor to come and learn.
Yeah, you
Those
can
on
just share
Facebook,
the link.
share the link and invite as many as you can to come and learn the same way you have been learning. Share the link with them, tell them to come in and learn. it will be a very wonderful moment for them. Start dropping your questions.
Okay, yes, I think I'm done and we're good to go.
Okay.
Do we still have any? We still don't have questions on Facebook yet, do we? Not yet, but I have a few questions here on Instagram, so I think I'll start with Instagram.
Start dropping your questions.
Okay.
Okay, yes, I think I'm done and we're good to go. Do we still have any? We still don't have questions on Facebook yet, do we?
Okay, I don't know. I think echo. I don't know, Gemma, why you're echoing. Try and I think you should just mute when you're not talking. So the
Yeah,
echo.
I've sorted it out now.
All right. Okay. All right. We still don't have any question on Facebook, but I can see the Facebook people are watching us. So I will just go straight to Instagram. Okay. So the first question I'm having from Instagram is from Shami for King. Good evening, Doc. Please, what could I cause throat infection in a baby of 16 months? Throat infection is caused by germs. So germs could be viruses, could be bacteria, could be any of the usual germs, but usually most of them are either viruses or bacteria, and children can get them either through coming in contact with somebody else while the infection sneezing, and some of these germs are in the hair, and sometimes when children breathe them in, they can have it as well. So that is the usual route for the children getting the infection. So I hope that is clear. Um, if it's a virus infection, most of them require no treatment. They will run their course and they will stop. But if it's a bacterial one, most of the time, the children will need treatment with antibiotics. So the best option is to take the child, especially if the child is having fever and the child is really having difficulty with swallowing, or is having complaining of pain so much in the throat, then you just have to take the child to the hospital, and then the doctors will be able to do appropriate prescription or treatments for the child. All right. The second question on Facebook, Charlie01. My 13-month-old baby girl is only eating what I eat. That is perfectly normal. So your 13-month-old should actually be eating what you eat. But in addition, you should be breastfeeding. So that is actually normal. There's nothing like baby food. There's nothing like cereal. So again, this is what we try to address all the time. I find out that sometimes when mothers struggle with complementary feeding, it's actually due to the ignorance of what is actually complementary feeding. So for a 1-year-old, that is actually what we expect a 1-year-old to eat exactly what the entire family is eating, to eat from the household pots. Okay, your child still need milk, so definitely at 1 year we still expect you to be breastfeeding. So we expect you to breastfeed at least up to 2 years or beyond. If for any reason you don't want to breastfeed, you should buy milk. A 1-year-old can actually take the normal milk as well that the rest of the family is taking. They don't need any special milk from age of 1. So there's really nothing wrong with this child. This child actually is the one reading the textbook, but I guess the mom is the one that needs to have the updated information of what is complementary feeding, what is expected. And for that, on our Facebook group, on our websites, we have all this information on what is complementary feeding and how to go about it. Global Health Media has produced videos on how to feed your baby from 0 to 2 years. So it would be nice if you go to our group, or if you just go on YouTube as well, just check for Global Health Media videos. You will see all these videos on complementary feeding. And they also have an app, Bath and Beyond app, where you can have all these videos downloaded. It is very important to have the right information, then you will not have unnecessary worry and anxiety. So the so-called baby food or baby cereal or whatever, they are absolutely not necessary. All the food that your baby needs to eat are food that you are also eating in kitchen. There's no baby food, adult food. Food is food, okay? So that is the same food. So for the first 6 months, you give your children breast milk only. From 6 months and above, they can still keep taking breast milk, and you give them the same food that you are eating. So when they are just starting, you give them in a texture that is soft, that is porridge like, mashed. And then by the time they are 1 year old, they can actually eat the normal solid texture that you are also eating. So that is what we expect for your baby. And your baby is already overweight. A 30-month-old baby should be weighing 10 kilos averagely. So 15 kilos is actually the weight of a 2.5-year-old. So that is actually on the high side. No, not 2.5 years old, weight of a 3.5 years old. So the weight of your baby is really high. And I won't be surprised it has to do with trying to force the baby to eat too much more than what the baby needs to eat. So just cut down, there's no need for the baby to take any baby food. Let baby take breast milk, let baby eat normal food 3 to 4 times a day, healthy diets, fruits and vegetables as snacks, not junks, not biscuits, not pastries, not any of those things. So that is what your baby needs. If your baby keeps adding weight, you need to see a pediatrician, because there are other issues why a baby could be overweight beyond just complementary feeding, beyond just food. Some children have some medical conditions, syndromes, and stuff like that, and we need to check so that we can address that properly. All right. So your baby is not malnourished. Your baby is I guess you are still right in a way. Your baby is malnourished in the sense that your baby is overweight, not underweight. Your baby is weighing too much than what we expect for the age. So that is what is worrying me. Not that baby is underweight. So I'm not worried about your baby's eating. Your baby obviously is eating right food, eating what you are eating, but then maybe what you are eating is what I need to check as well. So please let there be a lot of vegetables, fruits, protein, not too much of sugary food stuff and junk food. Those things should be removed from the diet. I hope that is clear. If you're still listening to me, you can ask clarifying questions if you want. All right, I'll take I think one or two more
Okay,
questions. Then we'll come
we
back.
have one from.
Hey, hold on, Ijoma. I'll come back when I'm ready to come to Facebook. I will let you know. Then I will switch so that we don't bust into each other. All right. The next person say, Mimi Spice, say good evening. Doc, can I give reload for my kids to my 2-year-old? So yeah, I guess your reload is multivitamins. It's okay if you want to give your children multivitamins, but the most important thing is to make sure that they are eating healthy. And eating healthy is eating fruits, eating vegetables. If your children are eating fruits and vegetables, they will get their vitamins from that. And actually, that is what we prefer, that you give your children natural food as the source of the vitamins. But if you are not sure that they are getting enough of the fruits and vegetables, then it is prudent to make sure that they get the multivitamins. And any brand of multivitamins you want to give is perfectly okay. All right, so we'll go back to Facebook now, and then we can take the question there. I think we have just one question.
Okay, yeah. It says from a Facebook user, good evening, ma. My baby is 4 months plus. Whenever I try to sit her down, she falls to her side. Ma, please, should I be worried?
No, there's no need to be worried because your baby is not yet ready to sit. So again, we need to know what is the normal milestones. So usually children should gain neck control by 3 to 4 months. Then they should start to sit with support. Even when your children are going to sit, they will sit with support from 5 to 6 months on the average. So your baby is 4 months, your baby is not yet ready to sit. So so that's why baby is falling, because baby is not developmentally ready. You cannot force a child to do what they are not developmentally ready to do, because it has to do with their brain development. So at 4 months, the child is not ready to sit. Not because there's anything wrong with the child, it is just not yet time. Usually it should be around 5 to 6 months. And even at that time, when they want to sit, you still need to support them. Either you sit behind them and support them on the side, or you put pillow by this side. Usually by 7 to 8 months, then they begin to sit by themselves with their back straight. You don't need any pillow support. Then by 9 to 10 months, most babies will start to crawl. For babies that will crawl, because some babies don't crawl, and usually by 10 to 11 months, most of them will start to stand, and then they hold on to the tables and walk around with the table while standing, and then by averagely 1 year, most babies will walk. Now, the key word I keep repeating is averagely, because this is for maybe 50% of all babies. Some babies will do it a little bit earlier, and some babies will do it a little bit even later than what I just told you now, which is the average. Okay, but that does not mean there's any problem with the child. So there's no need to worry. If you want to have more information about developmental milestones, we have it on our website as well. And I think I've done it on my podcast as well. So you can either go to my podcast, Ask Dr. Gbemi ATP podcast, and listen to child developmental milestones, or you can go to our website, www.askthepediatricians.com, and look for the article. I think is my child development on course. That's the title of the article. You can read it so that you know what is normal. It is important to know what is normal so that you don't get unnecessarily anxious. So by expecting what your child is not even ready to do. So that is what you need to do. Just arm yourself with the right information, and then you'll be fine.
The next one from one of our Facebook users says, "Good evening. My baby was born at 32 weeks at 1.5 kg. On the 20th, she turned 8 months and is 5.9 kg. So I guess she's asking of the baby's weight here.
Okay, so normally when you ask questions, when you are on this platform, please ask questions. I try as much as possible not to assume what your question is, because sometimes you spend your so much energy answering the wrong question, because that is not actually what the question is. So whoever the user is, try and ask the question. What is your question about this? Is it about the weight, or is it that you are still writing and you have not finished? So I don't want us to make assumption on what your question is. So tell us what your question is. Anyway, but let me just quickly chip in that for preterm babies, we measure their growth and their development not based on their what we call chronological age, but we do it based on what we call their corrected age. So for those of you who have preterm babies, you need to be conscious of the fact that your babies have 2 ages, if you like. And when we say preterm babies, we're talking about babies that are born before 37 completed weeks of pregnancy. So if your baby is born anytime before 37 weeks, completed weeks, that means that your baby is preterm. So your baby is born at 36 weeks, 36 plus 4 days, 36 plus 5 days, your baby is still preterm. And anything lower than that. So for such babies, we normally calculate, because the age you calculate based on the date of birth. For example, you say your baby was born on the 20th, I guess maybe 20th of March or something. So your baby is 28 months, 20th of November. That is the chronological age of your baby. Now, your baby was born at 32 weeks. So your baby was born 2 months earlier than normal, because the dates, when we say the dates that your baby should be born, the EDD is actually calculated at 40 weeks. So if your baby is born at 32 weeks, your baby was born 8 weeks earlier than 40 weeks, which is the normal time your baby should be born. So your baby is born 8 weeks, is also like 2 months. So now that your baby is 8 months, your baby's corrected age is actually that 8 months subtracting the 2 months early, for which the baby was born too early. So we have to subtract 2 months from 8 months, because your baby was not born 2 months earlier. Your baby would just be 6 months if your baby was born on the real date at 40 weeks. So for us, your baby's age is actually corrected age is 6 months. So when we're looking at growth, when we're looking at development for such babies, okay, you've asked a question and should you be worried about the weights? Okay, so no problem. We're already answering your question. So when we're looking at the weights of your baby and we're looking at the development of your baby, we use the corrected age, not the chronological age. So the question is, at the corrected age of 6 months, if a baby is weighing 5.9 kilos, will I be worried as a pediatrician? And the answer is no. All right. So we want your babies, usually an average baby is born 3 kilos and they should double their birth weight at 6 months, which should be around 6 kilos. So if your baby is weighing, your baby was already born 1.5, so your baby was smaller, and now your baby is already 5.9 at the corrected age of 6 months. That is still normal for us as pediatricians, so we're not going to worry about the weight of your baby. Now, your baby needs to be eating complementary food now. Your baby should also still be breastfeeding. And for all preterm babies, they must be followed up by a pediatrician. I know most of you are so happy that your babies are no longer in the incubators, you've gone home. It is not yet it's not yet over. So those babies are still very precious, fragile babies, if I can put it that way. We need to monitor them. We need to follow up their growth. We need to follow up their development. This is what the pediatrician is supposed to be checking when you go for follow-up. And that is why they give you those follow-up appointments. So please always go for those follow-up appointments with your pediatrician. Ideally, all babies should, but more importantly, preterm babies, we need to follow up your babies. We need to monitor their development. We need to monitor their growth, because there are so many things we are worried about in them, even when they are older. And we usually will do that until they're about 2 years. And after 2 years, we stop correcting the age. We stop doing the corrected age, because by 2 years, we expect them to have caught up with everything that extra time they were born too early has created for them. So by 2 years, we expect that they should have caught up with everything, with growth, with development. So we'll stop correcting at 2 years. But before 2 years, we always have to calculate the corrected age before making a decision about their growth and development. Summary of your answer is that we're not worried about your baby's weight, but that does not mean that all is well. You still need to make sure you are feeding your baby properly and that your baby is being monitored by a pediatrician. All right, so let's take one or two more, then we can go to Instagram. Instagram people are their questions.
This person says, my baby's spontaneous is getting wider and sunken. Sometimes I call a pediatrician and she said I should feed her more breast milk, and I've been doing that. It seems to be widening in my eyes. A kind of tunnel is different from what I have seen in most babies. It is almost reaching the middle of her forehead. She's sick and active. Please, it's 4 months.
All right, thank you for your question. I'm happy you've seen a pediatrician and the pediatrician have reassured you. So I would say there's no need for you to worry, because if there's anything to worry about, your pediatrician would have told you about it. Yes, some babies are born with different shaped fontanelles. So maybe it's are born with a fontanelle that's a little bit larger than normal. Sometimes they tell us something. They may be a sign of some other medical issues with your baby. So that is where the pediatrician comes in, because the pediatrician will be able to see all the other signs, and then the pediatrician will be able to investigate more if they are worried. So if your pediatrician already told you that there's nothing to worry about, and I hope you really see a pediatrician, because it's not every doctor most people go to see in the hospitals that are pediatricians. And I know some people, because a lot of people always tell me they've seen a pediatrician, and then by the way the answer they gave, I know they've not seen a pediatrician, because I know there are certain things a pediatrician will never say. A pediatrician will never tell you that your child's problem is due to teething, or you should go and give teething mistress. No, I mean, that is almost a blasphemy for a pediatrician to say. So if you are not sure you've seen a pediatrician, the best place to be sure you are seeing a pediatrician, go to a government hospital, either a general hospital or a teaching hospital. You'll be sure to see a pediatrician there. If somebody tell you in that place that they are pediatricians, they are pediatricians, because they don't just keep just any kind of doctors. But sometimes some private hospitals, you are never 100% sure, unless you really can see their certificates or something that they are pediatricians. So if you are really worried, if you are still worried, since you've seen a pediatrician, if you are still worried, then I would say get a second opinion, see another pediatrician, preferably in a government hospital, in a teaching hospital, because they can quickly know whether they should worry about the fontanet. There are other things they will check. It's not just about the fontanet now. We'll be looking for whether there are other signs that there is something really wrong with the baby. But from what you told me, your pediatrician has reassured you your baby is fine. So I will want to believe that there's no reason for you to worry. Please, for a 4-month-old, just keep breastfeeding and breastfeeding exclusively. All right, I think I'll just take a pause on Facebook and I'll go to Instagram. So I don't want Instagram to pile up, and then we'll come back. All right. Somebody's asking, my son will be 1 year by December 7. He hasn't grown any teeth. I'm really getting worried. Okay, there's no reason to be worried. Some babies don't have their first set of teeth until they are 13 months old. Nothing to worry about at all. It's a normal variation. So, like I was talking about when I was discussing development, some babies a little bit earlier, some maybe a little bit later, but it's still within normal. So we're not going to worry even if your baby doesn't have any teeth at age of 1. But try and see your dentist by the age of 1, because the dentist always wants to see your babies anyway by age of 1 year, just for them to check that all is well. So just see the dentist when your baby turns 1, but it is nothing to worry about at all. Then somebody, Butico Artistry, say, good evening. My baby will be 1 year, but okay, it's the same question. I think you're asking your question twice. There's no need to ask your question twice, just ask it once. I will still read it later. We just take them in, because we're on 3 platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. So we try to take questions from different places, but we always come back to them. Yeah, there's no need to worry. I've already answered your question. All right. I thought I saw a question in the question box, but it seems to have disappeared. Okay, I think that's all. Okay, that's all for Instagram. I thought I saw some question in the question box. Oh no, sorry, the questions are still there. Just 1 more minute. Omolara Ola 1. Say, good evening, doc. My baby of 1 year, 9 months just woke up this morning and has been feeling vomiting. Is the child vomiting or the child is having nausea, like the feeling of vomiting? There are 2 different things. Okay, she vomited when she took water in crèche. Okay, so your child has vomited. So if the child is vomiting, we need to know why the child is vomiting. You may need to take the child to the hospital. Vomiting doesn't have any first aid at home. So vomiting may be the first sign of an illness, that a child is sick. So, but we don't know which of the illness it is, because virtually every illness can come with vomiting, fever, malaria, viral infections, even indigestions, food poisoning. There's so many things that can present with vomiting. So because we don't know which is which, it's maybe prudent to go take the child to the hospital, see a doctor, let them hack through the question, examine the child, and then they can tell you why she's vomiting and what to do next. Okay. Okay, Charlie 01 is giving me updates on that question. I'm still breastfeeding. That's very good. Appetite is very low. Okay, and our food portion is very small. Okay, so if your child is not eating so much and your child is already weighing 15 kilos at 1 year, I would rather you take the child to see a pediatrician, because we really need to know what is wrong. So number 1, we need to check that weight again. We need to be sure that it's not a scale error. So because sometimes some scale error can happen, human error can happen. So we need to check the weight. If the weight is still 15 kilos, then your pediatrician needs to be investigating why your child is overweight, because the child is overweight if the child is weighing 15 kg at 13 months. Like I told you earlier, that is more than the weight of a 3-year-old. And so we'll be worried about that. So yeah, your baby has always been big. If your baby was already weighing 10 kilos at 7 months, the baby's been big. And that child, you didn't tell us what the best weight is, but that child needs to see a pediatrician as fast as possible. So you want to see a pediatrician, preferably you want to see a pediatric endocrinologist. Sometimes there's nothing wrong. Sometimes it's just that in your family, maybe you people are maybe there are people are actually big or something, but we just need to be sure we're not missing out some medical conditions that can make a child to be obese or very big, because obviously you are breastfeeding, your child is eating normally and not eating a lot, and yet your child is overweight. So I'm definitely going to be worried about that baby. So I'm going to recommend you see a pediatrician, preferably a pediatrician, maybe in a teaching hospital or a pediatric endocrinologist, because they will be the ones, they are the experts in that area. Okay, final question on Instagram before we go back to Facebook. Can I use shea butter on 2 weeks old baby's face? You can use shea butter if you want. Um, the most important thing is for us to know is that your child is not allergic to whatever product you're using on their skin. They are not allergic. So and avoid things like powder, things like perfume. Some people even are, I mean, we're trying to tell parents to stop using perfume baby lotion and all that. Then some people are actually designing like baby cologne, baby perfume. I'm like, seriously, babies don't need all that. So most of those things are just chemicals that, as babies have very sensitive skin and they can react to those chemicals, and that is why most babies are having rashes from your powder, from your cologne, from all these nice sweet smelling products we're using on the skin. So go for products that are without those chemicals, natural products. Shea butter is fine, coconut oil is fine, normal Vaseline without the perfume is fine. Those are all normal products, and you don't need powder on the baby's skin because it just dry up their skin, make it very itchy, and then they're going to end up with rashes. So that's what you need to use. If you want more information, if you're a first-time mother, you want more information about the care of a newborn and all these everyday issues, you can get our FTM baby companion. Oh, my second has disappeared. Our FTM baby companion and the FTM products. If you just send us a message, we'll let you know how to get them. All right. I think Ijama disappeared, but I'm sure she'll come back. All right, I'm going to go back to Facebook now. Facebook user said, can a baby of 10 months and 1 week be given multivitamins to help her eat? Multivitamins does not make baby eat. That is a misinformation, okay? So just forget about multivitamins make anybody to eat. That is not the work of multivitamins. Multivitamins have a role in digestion, in many of the what we call metabolism, many of the processes the body does, but it's not to make them eat. So there's no reason to be loading children with multivitamins. So if your child is not eating, you need to figure out how to have them eat. And sometimes it is about the way we do it. Okay, so like sometimes it's about wrong expectation of what quantity the child should eat, or wrong expectation on what exactly should the child should eat. Like the first question I answered today, where a mother expects that the baby should eat a particular kind of food because that is a baby food and not this person. So, and I can't tell you how many times parents have asked that, oh, my baby likes to eat the food that we eat, but it doesn't want to take baby food. And parents are really worried about that, which is actually like the baby should actually be eating the food you eat, not any kind of baby food anyway. So most times it's all about the ignorance, and sometimes the quantity we expect baby to eat may be too much for what the baby to eat, and then parents just go, my baby is not eating. Not that my baby is taking only this particular quantity, but because the baby is not finishing the quantity that they want the baby to eat, then everything just go under the category my baby is not eating. So what I normally recommend first is go to our, since the Facebook user is in our Facebook group, go to our Facebook group, the guides, go to the guides section, click on complementary feeding guide 2. That is guide 2, nutrition 102. Watch all those videos, read the article. In the article, the information on what quantity, how often, what exactly should you give, they are all there. Go through that. Then we also have a lot of tips on how to feed your baby. Number one, don't bottle feed complementary feeding. A lot of mothers want to give pap and cereals and all that through bottles. No way, don't do that. Use spoon and cup and plate to feed the baby. The porridge or whatever should be semi-solid or thick, not watery. All right, let baby feed actively, feed them with spoon, and also let baby eat at the same time everybody is eating, so that they know that eating is not punishment. Use colorful, all this your plates and spoon, let them be colorful. You can buy the cartoon character, do things that interest the baby, really. So there are a lot of tips on feeding children, on getting them to eat, that you really need. And then don't force feed children. Don't make them see eating as something to fight for, as a punishment or anything. If they don't want to finish everything, that's fine. Let them be. Then when a few hours later, you can offer it again. And of course, no leftover food. Let the food be fresh. Let it be warm. Those are simple strategies that sometimes when parents um, use, then the children eat. And then be conscious of how often children should eat. They don't have to eat every 3 hours. They don't have to eat every 2 hours, because some parents expect that the way babies are sucking breast, that is the same way they should be taking complementary food. No, that is not true, because complementary food is actually more calories in less quantity. So they don't have to take the same volume like they would take like milk or breast milk as solid. So usually, even for a 6-month-old, they just need to take like 2 times a day of complementary feed, and the rest should be breast milk. For your 10-month-old, the baby should take like 3 times or 4 times a day of complementary food, and the rest should be breast milk. And of course, they can have maybe 1 or 2 snacks in between. So you need to have all those information. Then variety. Let's not be giving the children the same food all the time. I see mothers giving babies pap, morning, afternoon, night, or a particular cereal from the store, morning, afternoon, night. The child will be tired, of course. So try variety. So, and there are a lot of, I always tell parents, I'm not the nutritionist, I'm not the dietitian. So, but people that do that, there are a lot of videos and website. There are lots of Facebook groups where they teach you how to be creative with the kind of food that you give your baby, how to prepare, this food, blend it, how to make it they look colorful, they look interesting, and they are very tasty. And some of you also, you prepare food that are so bland. You don't want to add salt, you don't want to add sugar, because you believe that adding salt and sugar is going to make the child have diabetes or hypertension. This is not true. So then the children want to take, and I like, before you give your child any food, you need to taste it yourself. Does it taste right in your mouth? So if you cannot take pap that doesn't have sugar, how will you expect a 10-month-old to take it, and then you expect that baby to be happy with the food? No, of course, no. So there are ways to sweeten your baby's food. You can, there are fruits, like if you blend like dates or banana or something into your cereal, for example, it will give it nice taste. Or you can, there's nothing wrong with adding the little sugar here and there. What we're after is moderation, not like the child is taking sugar 24/7, And of course, maybe in the morning you do pap. In the afternoon, it could be maybe potato with butter, with crayfish, or it could be like semo amala with ewedu, with Titus fish inside. Just have to be creative and try different things and keep trying. There are many ways to prepare the same food in different ways that children will like it. They like it colorful, they like it tasty, they like it attractive. These are simple strategies that, but I know it's not a very easy thing, because most parents like the easy way, that you just take something, pour it in the plate, add a little bit of water or milk, mix it, and then the child is good to go. That saves you time, but it doesn't work for many babies. So you have to be able to do. I know it's a lot of work. I know, but please, you just have to do it. But it's better, it will pay off eventually, because the children will eat, and by the time they are going to 1 or 2, they can actually eat exactly the same thing the rest of the family is eating, and you don't need to have it separate cooking for them. But more importantly, keep breastfeeding them as well. So that is the answer to your question. There is no magical drug or magical anything that is going to make children to eat. If there is, I'm sure I'll be selling it, and I'm sure I'll be a millionaire by now, because I know a lot of mothers are looking for that magical drug that once they give their children, they'll be eating like termites. But there is nothing like that. And please don't go and buy so-called super appetites or cypreptadine. All those products are very dangerous. They are not, those drugs are not meant to be given to children to increase appetite. They are meant for something else. Of course, they have the side effect of making children eat, but they also have a lot of dangerous side effects. So please do not give your children drugs to make them eat. And multivitamin doesn't make them eat. If your children is not eating well, you are giving multivitamin so that the child is not getting vitamin deficiency, not because the vitamin is going to make the child eat. It's not really so, but if your child can eat fruits and vegetables, then they will get all the vitamins from there. So I hope that is clear. I answered that question in details because it's a every day, every time, most frequently asked question to the pediatrician. So I'm sure many people have the same version of that question. So I've answered it all at once so that we don't have to go back to it again. All right. So let's just move on. Welcome back, Ijoma.
Okay. One of our Facebook users said, my baby is 1 month old now, and I notice rashes on her cheeks and her forehead. Is it something I should be worried about?
Okay, thank you for your question. It's difficult to answer your question because I need to see the rashes. Without seeing the rashes, I won't know whether it should be something you need to worry about or not. So I can, since you're on our Facebook group, take a picture if you like of the baby's cheek and the places affected and post it, then we can look at it. There are some rashes in newborn babies that are do nothing, just leave it, they will go by themselves. But there are rashes that are due to what you are using on the skin, like I just discussed a few minutes ago. All these chemicals we are putting on baby's skin, it irritates the skin. And there are rashes that are due to infection, especially if we are not washing our hands and everybody is touching baby, everybody is kissing baby, they're depositing bacteria on the skin of the baby. Is going to come down with all those rashes that are due to infection. It could be bacterial infection, it could be fungal infection. So without seeing the rashes, we cannot tell you which of the rashes is and what is the appropriate approach. And let me quickly chip in because I see a lot of mothers, everything is Tributon. Tributon is not a magic cure for all rashes. Or what's the second one? Pseudo-cream, Tributon, nice product, but they are not magical solution to all rashes. So the way mother asks me question is like, I've used this product, and so why? As if why should my ABC be having rashes because I've used this product? As if that product is meant to have cure any rash. Sorry, that is advertisement jargon. There is no cream or product that cures all rashes. Don't let anybody deceive you. That one is just adverts, okay? Rashes depend on the cause and the type. So, like I said, there are rashes that are, like, for example, itch rash, for example, you don't need to use anything on itch rash. You just need to keep your baby cool, and that's it. It will go by itself because it's itch. So, if there's no itch, there will be no rash. If your baby is having rashes due to allergy, you don't need to use anything. You need to stop what it is you are using that your child is allergic to, that your child is sensitive to, or that your child is reacting to. That is the solution. If your child has a bacterial infection, you need an antibiotic cream or products. If your baby has fungal infection, it's going to be an antifungal. And we pediatricians, we don't like all these triple action cream. There's bacteria, there's fungal, there's steroids. It is not appropriate because most of the time your child does not have the three of them. And if your child has a bacterial infection and you are putting something that has steroids, it's going to get worse, okay? So it's always good to see a rash, ask questions around the rashes to know whether is it bacterial, is it fungal, is it a viral thing, is it an allergic thing, or is it just a normal rash that is sometimes happening in newborns, for example. We need to know that, and that is what we determine the advice that we give. So don't take advice from all this experienced mother. My baby has rash, go and use ABC. I see them even on the ATP. Before you answer the question, they've already started recommending, go and use magnesia powder, go and use it's not, it doesn't work that way. So don't, and sometimes some of you use those products, you make things worse for the child. So this is just a general advice. If you have a rash, if you don't know what it is, do nothing. Okay, in medicine we say, first of all, do no harm. In other words, don't even, it's better not to do anything than to do something that will make things worse. So just leave it alone and ask questions from health professionals and let them advise you, not from fellow mothers, because they will always have a solution to everything, and which may not always be the right solution. So I hope that is clear. All right, let's move on. Our time is running
Okay.
now. We'll be faster.
Our Facebook user said, "Good evening, doctor. My 6 months baby sweats a lot. Should I be worried? I use lukewarm water to bathe her. Yet I noticed the tiny rash on her hands since last week. I don't cover her up and leave the room well ventilated."
Okay, so if your baby as it's sweating a lot, it means baby is hot. So I know you have tried to you are trying to tell us now that your room is well ventilated, but is it cool? Because it depends. I don't know where you are asking questions from, whether you're in a hot environment area or in a cold environment. So I will only worry if a baby is sweating when everybody is shivering for cold. In other words, it is so cold, everybody is cold, and yet your baby is sweating. That is when we will worry. So just make sure that the room is cool. Please use fan in your room. Use AC. There's nothing like your baby cannot use AC. Their baby cannot use fan. Those are myths, okay? The most important thing is moderation, regulation. We don't want baby cold, neither do we want baby hot. So you just want it to be, if you put the room in auto, if you are using the AC, for example, it's fine. If you are using the fan, don't put baby directly under the fan, but let the fan circulate so that fresh air can come in, fresh air can. There's no way your baby will be sweaty if your baby is not hot. And it is not abnormal to sweat. We're talking about excessive sweating because you put the word a lot. Babies normally will sweat. Everybody sweat, especially after sucking, when you've done some energy, active. Babies have, they are sucking. That is the main work they do. They will sweat, all right, because the food they're also eating is hot. But usually they will cool off after. So, but if your baby is really sweating a lot, like soaking, like you have to change clothes because baby is sweating so much, the clothes are wet, the bed sheets are wet, that is when we count it as a loss, and that is when we will worry about it. And then again, make sure that you're not over covering the baby, your room is cool, it's well ventilated. The rashes, we need to see the rash. I've already answered that. Don't assume the rashes are due to eat rashes or anything. Without seeing a rash, we won't be able to say this is the cause of the rash. All right, let's move on.
Okay, Victoria Chinonso said, "Good evening, ma. My baby will be 7 weeks tomorrow. His navel is almost closed, but there is this little white thing still showing. His navel is a little bit big, which makes the white thing bigger whenever he cries. I was applying Blue Seal Vaseline before, and I started using chlorhexidine gel on Tuesday. I am worried about the navel. Please, what should I do? Birth weight 3.5, weight at 6 weeks, 5.4 kg."
Okay, all right. Number one, don't use Vaseline on the baby's navel. You should not use Vaseline on the baby's navel. What and chlorhexidine gel should be used in the first week of life. First week, 7 days. That is when we use it. So once the cord has dropped and all that, you don't need anything. If they see a little bit of raw area, which is what I think I'm getting from your question, like the place is not yet fully closed, there's a little bit, I don't know whether there's a little swelling, like what we call umbilical granuloma. We need to see what you are referring to so that we are on the same page. But no matter what it is, if there's a little raw area, a little area that is not closed, what you should do is to clean it with methylated spirit only. Clean with methylated spirits and leave it dry. Don't cover it. Don't apply anything. Just clean with methylated spirit and leave it. It will eventually close. Some babies have what we call umbilical hernia. So the navel looks big. It is also normal. Most of the time, it will resolve by itself. It is only when it is very big and it's a cosmetic issue, the surgeons can operate it and close it for you. But nobody will do that in a 7 week. So they will do it after age of 5 years if it is still there, because it is very common in black babies to have umbilical hernia. So if there's any little hole or area or raw edge or anything, just clean with methylated spirit. Don't apply Vaseline. Don't apply anything. Don't mop with hot water. Don't do anything. Give the baby a normal bath, dry the baby, and then dry that area they called with methylated spirit. End of story. And that's all you need to do. There's nothing else you need to do, and there's nothing to worry about. And the most important thing we are after is that we don't want infection in that area, because that area, once there's still a hole, that hole can lead to infection and it can spread to the rest of it. But that is all we're after. So as long as you're cleaning with spirits and keeping it dry, everything will eventually close. When you go for immunization, show your doctor, show your nurse, they'll be able to tell you what to do. So that is why you go for all these checkups. But I personally am not worried, but you can still show your doctors when you go for your next 10 weeks immunization. But most important thing is to clean with spirits and keep it dry. Okay, let me just check that Instagram have not asked any more questions. No. So let's move on. Okay.
Our Facebook user says, "Good evening, doctor. This group has made me a teacher. Your team has really done well.
Thank you.
My baby of 5 months, birth weight 3.3 kg, and weight at 18 months is 6.6.
Is it 18 months or 8 months? I hope it's not 18 months. I hope it's 8 months. If you are wrong, please correct quickly before we run with that wrong information. Anyway, go on.
He has a severe cough, catarrh. I took him to see pediatrician. He was diagnosed of cold, malaria, parasite, 2+, and infection. He's still on medication and on EBF. Today, he has pooped 5 times today, but doesn't sink in the diaper. Do I need to worry?"
Okay. There are so many issues with this your question I'm not sure about. Number one, is your baby 18 months or your baby is 8 months? That is number one question, because I guess you just said your baby of 5 months. Okay, I think baby is 5 months. Birth weight is 3.3, and weight. What do you mean by is he? What does she mean by 18 months? Because that is really confusing us. Okay, because your baby is 5 months, then your baby cannot have a weight at 18 months. So I'm going to assume your baby is 5 months old, and maybe your weight at 18 weeks. Maybe it's 18 weeks she wants to write. See, for a pediatrician, they want to make an error with age. You kind of scatter the whole question because we can't answer. So if you're still exclusive breastfeeding, I want to assume your baby is 5 months, and that 18 months meant 18 weeks. So I'm happy you've gone to see your doctor. They've given you medication. There's no reason for you to worry, because the medication you are given may make your babies to pass watery stool. You didn't tell us the name of the medication, but I know that medication can affect your baby's stools. The illness itself can affect your baby's stool. Okay, I think she has corrected herself. It is 18 weeks. No, yeah, because I was almost you are 5 months again. You've written 5 weeks again instead of 5 months. Anyway, don't worry. I think you've gotten your question now. Okay, so be very careful before you hit send. Make sure you read and make sure you have corrected any typographical error. I know, but I think I got your information. Your baby is 5 months. It was the weight at 18 weeks, that is 6.6 kilos. Your baby is on medication. Medication can affect the stool of your baby. They can make it watery. The fact your baby have malaria too can affect the stool. So I'm not going to worry about all that. Just keep breastfeeding exclusively and complete the treatments that your pediatrician has given to you. All right. Did we jump anything? Okay. No, we've jumped. Let me go back. Sorry. Because I was looking for the correction of the 18 months. So I think
Okay. No.
Yeah. No, we've okay. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Good
sorry.
evening, ma.
Yeah, that's the right one, right?
Yes. Good evening, ma. Please, my baby is 3 weeks, and he always squeeze and twist his leg and groan in pain and cry or make some noise and makes noise while sleeping sometimes.
Okay, I guess you are asking about a baby who most likely have colic. Sorry, there's nothing wrong, nothing to worry about. newborn babies do this a lot when they are passing cars, when they are passing stool, they feel that movement of the gas of the stool going down, and they kind of twist their body, they kind of make all those, and sometimes they cry. It is really, really nothing to worry about. Okay, you don't need to panic, you don't need to worry. It is one of those, it shall come to pass. Okay, so don't worry. If you're a first time mom, you may want to grab a copy of our FTM products. Let me see whether I can show this. So you can grab a copy of that and read, because it will help you. We also have the 500 frequently asked questions by first time moms, so you can grab a hold of this product. Just send us a WhatsApp message or email or anything, just or go on our Facebook group and ask. Somebody will be able to send you the link to all these first time mom FTM companion. It will answer most of these questions. So there's really no reason to worry about baby making all those sounds. They are normal. They are not in pain. They are don't. I know mothers are worried like, oh, maybe yes, I see the baby's in pain, and some mothers will cry for them as well. So no, it's nothing to worry about. So it's something that they outgrow with time. All right, for those on Facebook, I'm showing you all our first TM products, so that if you want to get a copy of them, you can have that. And hopefully we'll have them on Instagram soon, and then people can buy them. I mean, sorry, on Amazon soon for those who want hard copy. But most of currently it's on digital. But if you want hard copy, it will soon be on Amazon as well. All right, so I think we've answered that question. Even though you didn't ask the question, we know the where you are going with your question. All right, the next one.
All right. A Facebook user says, I noticed more transparent rashes on my baby's head. She's 1 week, 4 days. What should I know about that?
Nothing. Don't do anything. It would have been nice to see, but the way you describe it, I will assume is most likely it rash. So please, if your baby is a newborn baby, don't overwrap, overcover, don't close all the doors, all the windows, and like the baby must not have any breeze blow on them. That is not right at all. So please dress your baby. Newborn babies, cover them, no problem, but don't overdo it, and let the room be well ventilated. Let the room be cool. The room of a new mom doesn't have to be like a oven that is boiling hot. So, and they don't have to be swaddled and cap and socks and mintings and everything. They're already wearing 3 layers. They're already wearing socks. Those things make them to have rashes, and that's the commonest cause of all those rashes. They are itch rashes. So try and dial down the amount of covering and make sure your room is well ventilated and cool and not like boiling over. So, and don't need to do anything about the rashes, just leave it. It will go by itself. Once you dial down the amount of heat and covering, the rash will automatically just disappear on its own. You don't need to apply any products. It will go by itself. All right, let's move on.
Okay, the next question says, good evening, Ma. I noticed my baby left eye has mucus. She's 7 weeks old. Can I be worried?
Okay, there's no need to be worried. I guess you're saying your baby has high discharge. So what you need to do is for clean it. Some high discharge are normal, like baby can have this whitish discharge in the morning. So what you need to do is just to clean it after giving them a bath. So the one that we're worried about is if they keep having this yellowish or creamy like discharge, and they have it throughout the day. In other words, you clean it and even in a few hours it is back again. Some of them are so bad that they gum, they will gum the baby's eyes together, you will see. So what you need to do is that just get a clean like face towel, put it in a clean water, preferably. If you are not sure of the source of water, boil it. If you are, or you just use your bottled water, just water that is really clean, because we don't want you to use another infection to clean another one. So just drip the clothes in the water and wipe off all those discharge. If it's a recurrent side that keeps coming back, then you need to take baby to the hospital, and the doctor will prescribe the appropriate eye drop for your baby. Okay, there are different kind of eye drops. There are eye drops that are not meant for babies, so don't just go and buy anything. And I know most mothers will just go and buy chlorphenicol, which is what people normally use, which we don't want you to use in babies less than 2 years old. So don't buy that. So you must go to the hospital. The doctor will prescribe. But if it's just once a day in the morning discharge, you don't need to do anything. But it is the continuous discharge that is thick, yellowish, gummy the baby's eyes throughout the day, yes, you have to go to the hospital, and the pediatrician or even your normal doctor can prescribe appropriate antibiotic eye drop for the child, which you have to use. And when they prescribe, please use it for the duration. So if they say use it for 2 weeks or use it for 1 week, you must use it. Even if the discharge has stopped, you must still use it until you've completed the duration. I know a lot of parents, once the problem is gone in 2 days, then they say, thank God. And they don't complete the treatment. Please, for antibiotics, whether oral drugs, whether eye drop, whether cream, always complete it. Even if the problem seems to have disappeared, you must complete your treatment for the duration the doctor gives. All right, let's move on.
This opportunity. I have a 7 week old review which I have been practicing EBF for. However, I will be resuming to work by January. I did not have the opportunity of leaving to feed during work hours. I have watched the video on the Facebook platform, extract breast milk, and start feeding him with a cup and spoon, but I have not been able to measure the quantity it takes perfectly, as oftentimes he exhausts the milk and I still breastfeed him. Is there
Okay, once your
hello?
question is too long, once your question is too long, the Facebook will cut you off. Anyway, there's no reason for you to worry. I'm happy you're expressing. That is all you need to do. Just express a lot and stop. So when you resume, you didn't tell her whether your baby is going to be home or you're going to crash. Well, whichever place whoever is going to take care of the baby, they can give the baby breast milk. So you don't need to know how much of breast milk your baby takes, but make sure you leave enough supply depending on how many hours you are going to be away. So you didn't tell us, those are the information we need. You need to tell us, for example, how many hours are you going to be away. So let's say an average mom who works 9 to 5, so you're away for 8 hours. Most babies will eat every 3 hours, so most likely they will eat maybe 3 times before you come back. So you must express enough breast milk to last those, and obviously you should give extra. So for example, what I normally do, or which is what I normally advise, is that you breastfeed a lot through the night. You breastfeed in the morning before you leave your baby. So most time, if you breastfeed a lot through the night and you breastfeed even before you leave the baby, that will still last baby for maybe another 2-3 hours after you're gone. And then your baby will only now need to eat maybe twice before you are back from work. So an average baby at that age, your baby is 7 weeks now. So by January, your baby will be maybe 3 months or 4 months. So they may take an averagely, let's say your baby is about 6 kilos. They will take about 600 meals for the whole day. Let's even say 800, let's even say 900. That's like max, for the whole day. So with each feed, let's say you feed them every 3 hours, that will be about 120 mils of milk. That's about average most babies will take. So if you're able to express up to like 240 or 300, 360 mils of milk down, let's even say 500 mils, then that will still last your baby before you are back from work. And that would take you, and this is good. You don't need to worry, because this is only going to be for the next 2 months or so. Because by the time your baby is 6 months, your baby can go on complementary feeds. So when your baby is on complementary feed, when you are not around, they feed your baby complementary food. And when you are around, you breastfeed. So it is not hard at all. So the most important thing is that you can start expressing and storing. So you have enough backup in your freezer before you go to back to work. If you can get this what's it called, electric pump, you can use your hand to express as well. I'm sure you've watched the video, so you've seen how to express, but electric pump is faster, more efficient. So you can be walking, and when you're at work too, you can be expressing your milk. So as you're walking, you express. I hope you have some privacy. We expect all employers of labor to give breastfeeding mothers places or privacy where they can express. So you can express while at work. So you keep it in your fridge and you take it back home as well, and then you go and store it. If you express your breast milk, you can leave it at room temperature for 6 hours and nothing will happen to it. If you put it in the fridge, it can last for 5 days. If you put it in a freezer, the freezer of a fridge, it can last for 2 weeks. If you put it in the deep freezer that you don't open all the time, it can last for 3 months. So the more you express and store, but make sure you label them. So try and make sure you express like each maybe 120 to 150 per bottle or per unit of storage, and label it date and time. Because when they want to feed your baby, they should start from the oldest and work it downward, so, and it is not difficult at all, so you can do it. You just need to express, and whenever you are back, make sure you just breastfeed. And when you are breastfeeding, you can be expressing one, and if you use the pump, it make it faster. It is doable. So you can do it. You just need a lot of encouragement, but it's doable, and that's what we recommend. I hope that is helpful for the person. Okay, we're running up now. Our time is up. Let's just take the remaining few questions that are already in. For those who are just coming, please don't ask any more questions because we already run out of time. So we'll just try and quickly answer the rest and then we close it for the day.
This is from Blessing. She says, "Good evening, ma. Please, my baby of 3 years and 6 months is crying of the feet is itching him. The feet is swollen and stiff. What could be wrong?"
You need to take the child to the hospital. Maybe the child has stepped on something. Maybe the child has reacted. If it's something, it's only the feet. Something is going on with the feet. So you need to, I hope there's not like an insect bite or something. There are many possibilities there, but that child needs to go to the hospital now so that they will be able to address the issue. Okay.
This person says, "My baby is 10 weeks, 5.4 kg. On Sunday, he had a swollen scrotum and was fusy. We went to the teaching hospital. The doctor said it's an emergency CS. But the second doctor that saw him said since the swollen went down, that we should go home. But if it's swollen again, we should come back. Should I be worried?"
Well, I'm not really sure what is the issue because you are seeing two different doctors. I believe in the same hospital. In teaching hospital, we have different level of doctors. So you have the junior doctors, who is most likely the first person you will see before you will now see the most senior doctors, who is the consultant or the senior registrar. So whatever the most senior doctor have told you, that is what you should do. So there are two major reasons why your scrotum will be swollen. It could be hydrocele, like there's too much water in, or it could be hernia. You didn't tell us which one is which. That is more important to know what is exactly the diagnosis. Is it hydrocele? Is it hernia? If it is hernia, for example, it will still need operation, but it's not like emergency operation, okay? Even for hydrocele, none of them is emergency operation. Unless the only emergency operation when it comes to scrotum is if the testis is what we call twisted, is abnormally twisted or something like that. That is the only emergency operation when it comes to swelling around the area. But obviously, if the swelling was going down and coming up again, then that sounds like hernia, and that is a surgery. It will still require operation, but it's not like an emergency operation. Then the doctors will fix a time. But ideally, they should have given you time to come back to see the surgeons who will do the operation. So it's not a matter of whether you should worry or not. It's a matter of what is the next thing to do. So you didn't tell us whether they told you to come back or not, but you should still go back to them, because if the swelling comes up whenever the child coughs or whenever the child is straining, then that sounds more like a near picture, and that child will still need operation. But I won't say it's an emergency operation, but it's an operation that has to be done along the line so that the whole thing will be repaired. All right. Okay, let me just quickly read the questions and rush through them because of time, Jama. So, Good evening. Thank you. My 7 weeks BCG site is swollen. Okay, that is nothing to worry about. That is a normal reaction. let me just say an excessive reaction to BCG vaccine. Just leave it alone. The pus will, you don't need to take the child back to the hospital. The pus will eventually come off. Clean it, trash it properly, and wash your hands. Don't apply any product, don't apply any cream, just leave it alone. And eventually, when it's ill, it will leave the BCG scar. It's nothing to worry about. It's something we do see, and it's nothing we worry about. All right. Sorry, somebody said I'm sorry for the next second question. When does reflux end in babies? Reflux may not end until the baby is about a year old and they're on solid, completely solid. That is when reflux is likely going to end. My baby spit out breast milk from both her nose, mouth, which can say we've been to a pediatrician. Okay, okay, yeah. So yes, you see the pediatrician. They've already told you it's reflux. They've already told you what to do. Your pediatrician has already done investigation to make sure they don't miss out anything. So since they've done all that and they didn't miss out anything, then it is still reflux, but the reflux may never stop until baby is completely on complementary feeding, when they are fully on solid. All right, last question on Instagram. Good evening, doctor. Do you have a blog or article on CMPA? I'm not sure we do have that. I'm not sure we do that, but it's a topic we can always address in future. All right. Okay, because of our time is gone, we want to round up at this point. Usually it's supposed to be an hour. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. So if you still have any question, feel free to join our Facebook group. You can join our Ask the Pediatricians Facebook group. You can join and ask all your children health questions. We answer questions from Mondays to Saturdays every week. Of course, we usually go on break in December, so we'll let you know. Usually the last 2 weeks of the year we go on break. We also want to have time for our families. But for now, you can still ask your questions and drop your questions. Our pediatricians, professionals, trained moderators, they are there to guide you to the right answers that are evidence-based from a pediatrician perspective. For the adults, we also have the ATP family. We also have ATP Still a Mom. We also have the FTM First Time Moms group. So all our groups are available for you to join and to ask your questions there. From Mondays to Saturdays, and 24 hours every day. Only on Sunday won't you be able to ask questions. And for those of you who want to see any of our professionals, we also have pediatricians that do consultation on our platforms. If you send us a WhatsApp message, I'm sure you can see the WhatsApp message either in any of our flyers or behind me or on Instagram. I think I put it there. Send us a WhatsApp message. We'll send you the details. Of course, that is not a free service. That is something you have to pay for. All right. Jama, you want to say your final goodbye? You are muted.
Oh, sorry. Just to appreciate our viewers, the Facebook, the Instagram, and the YouTube viewers, to keep popping in their questions. As you said, they should go to the Facebook and drop their questions. We would answer them as soon as we can. Thank you very much for coming around, and I'll see you next Monday with your question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So somebody is asking how to join our group. So just search for our group on Facebook. You can miss them. Or if you look at I think we have links to all our groups and then just join Ask the Pediatrician and ask. Somebody will drop a link for you. But if you just go to Facebook and type in First Time FTM Baby Care Group or any of the names of our groups, I'm sure it will come up. Or if you ask in any of the group you are already in, somebody will send you a link. So it's not difficult at all. All right. Thank you so much, Instagram family. Thank you so much, Facebook, YouTube. We didn't have anybody from YouTube today. All right. But thank you so much for those of you who are going to watch, or those of you who are watching the broadcast, not live, but later on. So we want to say thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye, everyone. We'll see you same time next week. God willing. Bye. And compliments of the season in advance. All right.